Good morning, everyone. I hope that you are enjoying our devotions through Holy Week. Holy Week is such a special and unique time. I've heard it described as both tumultuous and beautiful. I've read it once that it was described as both tragic and comedic. And it's such an interesting study in the heart of humanity. And it just seems like every time there's this really uplifting, praiseworthy time with Jesus in this week, that the very next page you turn and you see something that is just trying to tear it all down. And so this roller coaster through all these different emotions. Today's passage is found in Matthew chapter 26, verses 1 through 16. This is what's known as a gospel sandwich. And we read this, we see this quite often in Matthew's gospel and Mark's gospel. Sometimes this will be called a Matthew sandwich or a Markan sandwich, but basically what that means is we have this story or this narrative that's happening, but in the middle of it, we fit this other story, this other thing, this kind of a sidebar that's happening right in the midst of the kind of the larger narrative going on. And so our larger narrative happening here is Jesus starts out with just another prediction of his death, that he's getting closer and closer to having to die in the way of crucifixion. And it ends with the same guys that are plotting to kill him, actually Judas coming to them and saying, hey, what are you going to do for me if I turn this guy over to you? And so this plot to kill Jesus is sort of the beginning and the end of this story. But in the middle of it, we have this beautiful passage about a woman named Mary from Bethany. Now we know Mary. Mary is the sister of Martha. When we read about Martha sitting or coming in the house serving and doing all these chores while Jesus is there, complaining about her sister who's sitting at the feet of Jesus. And Jesus saying, this is where you ought to be. This is also the same Mary who has a brother named Lazarus that just a little while ago, Jesus raised him from the dead. Mary witnessed Lazarus die right in front of her. A little bit later, Jesus coming in, yelling, Lazarus, get up. And so I think this Mary also grasped a sense of wonder of the gospel even before Jesus died. She worshiped here with her extravagant gift, pouring this alabaster jar of perfume, once again finding herself at Jesus' feet. Now those around her looked at it and said, man, that's just way too much. What a waste, the disciples said. But was it? Was it a waste, or was it a real, true understanding of what was actually happening? So here's what I want you to do today with this passage. First, I want you just to discuss something. I want you to just think about something. Talk about what really led to Jesus' crucifixion. I mean, we see the plot to kill him going on right here, but is that what really brought him there? I mean, this is God that we're talking about. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to think of an extravagant way that you can pour yourself at Jesus' feet. Think of a way that you can worship him today that others around you would go, whoa, that is just way too much. But you know, because of the nature of the gospel being about death and resurrection and what Jesus did for you and I, that it could never be enough. And then go worship him that way today. You all have a blessed day.